so it makes it a little bit faster. And here we go. And we're starting with gold, torch, and not a key, more gold. All doors will be unlocked. You still have to push the door command, but all doors will be unlocked in this race. Which also means quick access to the Charlotte Treasury. Looks like they're going to be pretty rich starting off.
So what were the starting items? I missed it.
Torch, gold, and gold. This is chaos.
Oh my goodness.
We've got chaos, short Charlock, no keys, and fast leveling. Or very fast leveling.
Well, over in Remolder, it looks like the large shield is a pretty good deal. I think it was just $271. A lot of the other items looked like they were going to be more expensive. Alright, so it looks like Game Boy did a reset, has set up his level 1 gold grind after having checked the shop and knowing the various prices to know just how much gold he's going to need to buy the things he wants to buy. Yeah, and I guess it's been a while since I've played a no keys seed to recall that you can always set up the immediate gold grind just by exiting and re-entering the treasury right at the start. Or sorry, exiting and re-entering the throne room right at the start, which the game sees as counting as 6 different chests that you've opened, and then get the last 2 chests, and then the extra 2 chests in the treasury will end up being grindable chests. So over at the shop, it looks like Game Boy is purchasing the broadsword and the silver shield. That's some pretty nice starting equipment, as well as a dragon scale being equipped. Alright, and first enemy is a ghost, breathing fire with the weak breath. Since it's chaos, who knows which enemies are going to be killable and which ones not, but the broadsword has changed Game Boy's attack power up to 29, so there's probably a number of enemies he can kill, providing he finds what turns out to be the noodle. Or perhaps a few other enemies here in the starting zone. The Axe Knight turned out to be an instant kill, so there's a quick reset on Game Boy's side. And meanwhile, MuchParanoia, I guess, has also done a reset for Gold Grind. Or possibly he's just doing the more ghetto grind of exiting and re-entering the treasury to get the money. Got it. Yeah, if you're not aware of the fact that in the no keys you can do the immediate grind by exiting and re-entering the throne room, fortunately with a couple of gold chests there, it's not going to take him too long to get the amount of gold that he needed to buy some of the good stuff that's over in the Rumu shop. Meanwhile, Game Boy defeated a gold man, which appears to have given 90 something experience, and oh my goodness, he just got to level 6 off of that and got huge stat gains. So apparently, with the very fast experience, levels 1 through 6, 92 experience was enough to get you there. So yeah, assuming that MuchParanoia can also find an enemy that's going to give some comparable amount of experience, we're going to be off to a pretty fast start. Meanwhile, Game Boy has found the town of Hawksness. And yes, this is Chaos Mode. The runners have elected to do Chaos Flags, so we're going to have randomized enemy stats and rewards, basically, the experience and gold that you get from each enemy. We already saw the randomized shop prices, which is what allowed them to buy a broadsword and a silver shield, or in the case of MuchParanoia, apparently just the club and the silver shield, right from the start. A Poltergeist has heal, but Game Boy is going to try to counter it with sleep. We'll see if he can deal enough damage. And sure enough, he does, for 161 experience. So Poltergeist is actually a very good enemy, given the broadsword's attack power plus all of the attack power from the level up. And that's 2 more levels, it appears. Game Boy has jumped up to level 8 now, and his attack power is already up to 88, 6 minutes into this match. Chaos certainly can be chaotic. And the very fast experience certainly doesn't hurt. Here's another gold man, which is going to be another 92 experience. And apparently, yet another level up. 15 more hit points and 20 more magic points and a new spell. I believe he got Return. So at this point, he's got Hurt, Sleep, Stop Spell, and Return on Game Boy's side. Meanwhile, MuchParanoia is still trying to catch up. With the less starting attack power, he's still struggling to find the enemy he can kill. Game Boy is going back into Hawksness, which appears to have been just a little bit to the southwest. But a Demon Knight has Hurtmore and ends that run a few steps into that deserted town. Meanwhile, it's possible that the Stone Man is the Noodle. It looks like MuchParanoia is having a bit of a slap fight.
He could be there for a while. 63 HP.
Oh, wow. Thanks for popping up the stats there, Cyberdark. Andrew Agarian. I came pretty late to this broadcast, and so I'm still getting my feet out from under me, and I haven't realized who all was here.
Yeah, I don't think we've actually found our noodle yet. Probably the gold man being closest.
Yeah, it's worth a ton of experience. It was a little ways out. I guess it could, I think possibly they were starting right near the right edge of the map, and so it could be in that 0 zone. I thought Game Boy saw it pretty far to the left of the castle, but it still might be within 15 steps. And I didn't even notice. Game Boy got the armor, and I didn't even notice who the Spike Tile Guardian was that he just got it from in Hawksness. So Game Boy, here 9 minutes into the match, has a broadsword, Erdrick's armor, silver shield, and a dragon scale, as well as effectively keys, since it's a no keys flag set. And in the meantime, it looks like MuchParanoia has decided he wants to buy the broadsword, and he's going back through the castle a few times in order to get the required gold. I forgot what the actual price was. And Game Boy now. I guess it was Swamp Cave because he just appeared in the back of Garenham.
Yeah, it was Swamp. Swamp South is back of Garenham. I missed what the first of the three chests were, though.
Looks like MuchParanoia probably only needs one more run through the castle to get the gold that he's going to need to get the broadsword, and that'll give him his opportunity to start catching up, presuming that he manages to walk the 3 or 4 steps over to the Remolder shop without getting into a fight that kills him. So I guess with very fast XP, on average, although since it's chaos, you never know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 8,000 experience might be enough to get the players to level 16 or 17, which is often kind of Dragon Lord worthy. The stats so far are already looking pretty good here at level 10. Agility is still a little bit low, though. But even though, if you're just joining the race, it looks like an incredible difference between level 1 and level 10. Once MuchParanoia finds that gold man and gets his first kill, he's going to start rocketing forward in terms of levels and experience. And it sounds like the back of Garenham had Stones of Sunlight, Herb, and Money, based on what the chat is saying. So thank you very much for that.
Looks like we have Tablet Cave on Paranoia side.
And meanwhile, Game Boy is doing some exploring over on his side, and I believe is inside the mountain cave right now. No, he's okay, found the tablet cave as well. Got it. I didn't see where Paranoia had entered. We're in chaos mode. Someone's asking about the level difference. And so Game Boy managed to find a gold man near the beginning that he killed for 92 experience, which gave him level 6, due to Chaos's randomized level ups. MuchParanoia still hasn't managed to find the enemy he can kill right at the start, but once he gets that first kill, he'll be able to catch up to Game Boy in terms of experience very quickly. And the ghost has fire breath, putting MuchParanoia back to the castle. Meanwhile, Game Boy already has the sleep spell, and so he puts the ghost to sleep and is then able to kill it and progress. And it looks like there are some more caves down here to the south, including Silver Harp Staff of Rain Cave. So once Game Boy finds the harp, he'll be able to return there later. But yeah, chaos, very fast leveling. You never know what's going to happen. A red slime, excellent move, 158 experience. Game Boy is going to level up again. However, the stats have gotten more reasonable. 0, 2, 0, 2 possibly. Empty Eye loves it. Alright, and now we're really hoping that MuchParanoia is going to discover the Gold Man, or perhaps there's even another monster in the area that he is able to kill. Meanwhile, it seems that Game Boy is walking again from north to south through the swamp. And I believe the numbers are something that Cyberdark added recently as a death tracker. He's here and can pop up and explain it, but I think he's gotten bold and is trying to do a death counter, which is something that I've always wanted for these races, because we have had some crazy matches where players took tons and tons of deaths, and it really helps you appreciate things. Speaking of deaths, it seems like Game Boy just took another one of them as well.
So I think Uhu added that as a tracker for league points back when the league was on the go. I just decided to start using it as a death counter because it was funny.
I see. That's awesome. I appreciate it. And a clever way to just co-opt existing functionality in the tracker. Alright, Game Boy manages to take down another Poltergeist, which is a very good enemy for experience. He's going to get another level with 33 more hit points. My goodness, here at level 12. He now has Heal More. So a combination of lots of hit points and Heal More means he's getting close to indestructible here in Erdrick's Armor and the Silver Shield. Game Boy has 6 deaths, but he might not take many more.
Meanwhile, Paranoia got up to level 3 with a Snowman Gill.
And apparently is just 5 experience away from level 4. So even if he kills one of the monsters that I haven't seen as being a good experience, such as the Droll that Game Boy just killed for 7, that could still move him up. Alright, Paranoia takes down a Druin. It's only 24, but that's going to give him at least one more level, which included 5 power and 25 hit points, as well as the spell of Sleep. So yeah, Sleep is going to give him a whole lot more range in terms of the enemies he can kill. If he can manage to find the Poltergeist or the Gold Man, he's going to be in good shape to catch up pretty quickly in terms of experience. That said, he's a bit behind in terms of exploration at this point.
That's one of the fun things about Chaos Mode. You might get a level on, say, even level 9, and level 10 could be 1 experience away.
Or it could be 1,000 experience away. Can be both fun and horrible.
Very
I guess
true.
that's one of the reasons, yeah, that people often rescue the princess in Chaos Mode. Because in addition to her usual GPS functionality for telling you where she is on the map, like King Lorik, she also tells you how much experience there is to the next level. So it's sometimes the case that people will rescue the princess just to have that information, so that they know whether or not they should spend the time near the end of the game grinding to the next level, or whether it's far enough off that if they have dubious attacks, maybe they just want to take a shot at the Dragon Lord more quickly. And I guess we said we're playing with Short Charlock in these flag sets as well?
That we are. You just walk right into the basement.
And with no keys and being able to walk right into the basement, that means once they have the rainbow drop, it's great to go ahead and open Charlock up, because it's effectively 7 free chests, provided you can walk the 20 or 30 steps over to the treasury and to the added little staircase that brings you to the judge's table. Another excellent move on Game Boy's side. Go ahead.
And a Spark Over Bridge.
Oh yeah, which it looks like he is going to search. Fan favorites. Sadly, there's nothing there. He even searched the bridge tile. So yeah, MuchParanoia is still trying to discover which enemies are killable, and really hasn't found any of the high-value enemies just yet. And so some of that is just due to the fact that he had the slower start, not realizing he could trigger the immediate gold grind, to get all the equipment right up front, and some of it's just due to encounter luck. I'm not sure that we've seen the gold man on a screen yet, because it was an enemy that seemed easy to kill, and it offers 92 experience, and he's still sitting there with just 80.
And Game Boy hit level 13 and found Hurtmore.
Look for the fire transition on the tracker, as whenever you get the level up with Hurtmore, there's a blaze of fire as you're ready to start blasting away at enemies willy-nilly. It's got a fair amount of magic to work with as well. And unless the hit points really tail off right here with the final few levels, it looks like this will be a Death Necklaceable seed. However, in Chaos, using the Death Necklace is perhaps even a little more fraught, given how difficult Dragon Lord 1 in addition to Dragon Lord 2 can be.
Yeah, in Chaos mode, DL1 is usually a little bit stronger. Just a little bit.
He can have sleep, and he can have ridiculous attack power right now. It looks like Game Boy found the town of Cole, which contained Erdrick's token, so there's another quest item checked off his list. In addition to the experience lead, he's doing a good job in terms of checking off some bits of exploration. But meanwhile, MuchParanoia has found Garanham. He's going to check the shop over here, since he hasn't managed to find Hawks and get its hands on the armor. But unfortunately, the magic armor is very expensive. In any case, Garanham offers the first opportunity for MuchParanoia to fill up on herbs, maybe grab a torch or two.
Looks like Game Boy's in the grave.
And the first chest was fairy water, the second chest was an herb, and the third chest was gold among those top three. And Game Boy just elects to go ahead and outside right out of the grave. I wonder if he is going to buy a torch and go back in, because Radiant is actually the one spell he doesn't have. And while I can get to the top three chests of the grave in the dark, I definitely can't get to the bottom ones. Someone's asked a question in the chat. There is indeed a speed hacks option in the randomizer. It basically makes all the text go by super fast, which speeds up battle menuing as well as other menuing, such as doing stuff in towns, taking an inn, etc. Game Boy actually uses that mode a lot when he's just practicing Dragon Warrior Randomizer. It's a lot more fun for the players, in my opinion, just because you can just pretty much accomplish the same things you normally would, but get through the game much quicker. But it's not nearly as good for spectating, in my opinion, so there's trade-offs.
Paranoia is trying the Spectre with Hurt, but I've noticed from Game Boy screen that it took 2 Hurtmores to take it down, so it could be a while.
Yikes. Yeah, Paranoia's just had a little bit of bad luck in terms of the enemy selection. That, coupled with the very fast XP and the way the levels just happen to be balanced in this one, is really slowing him down even more, or extending Game Boy's lead, depending upon which way you choose to look at it. So Game Boy, with his torch, is now diving the last couple of chests in the grave. And let's see, he's found the grave, he's found Tablet Cave, he's found Remolder, he's found Garenham. So, other than Mountain Cave, I found Staff of Rain Cave. Mountain Cave and the Jerk are possibly the only remaining necessary locations.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And Sherlock. I don't think we've seen Sherlock yet.
Oh, yes, of course. And as I mentioned before, since they're playing Keyless and Short Sherlock, once you have the Rainbow Drop, it's basically free access to 7 more chests. So if Erdrick's Sword turns out to be in there, it's usually good to try to dip in, assuming you don't get blasted by enemies, just to get access to those chests, even if you're not ready to go after the Dragon Lord just yet. And yeah, really unfortunate, given how fast this seed is going, that Paranoia is reduced to doing another ghetto grind, walking repeatedly through Tangential Castle to take 2 gold chests out of the treasury to try to get whatever item he's going shopping for next. I also don't think he managed to find Hawk's Nest.
No, looks like he's probably going for a flame sword in Garenham.
Yeah, and Hawk's Nest was only like 1 or 2 screens to the south, if I recall, and it is where Erdrick's armor was. Game Boy got it pretty early on, less than 10 minutes in. Oh, and perhaps he actually did see MuchParanoia, did see Hawk's Nest, but wasn't able to clear it out. Either died to an enemy in there or died to the enemy on the spike tile. Or had seen it early enough when he wasn't ready to actually try fighting anything yet. My hunch is, unless the final locations end up being really easy to get to, that Game Boy's game is going to slow down a little bit at this point, because while he has been racing through things in terms of experience and collecting a number of items, I have to imagine that he's only managed to walk maybe a quarter to a third of the map thus far, and so if the final 2 locations are more disparately spread out, we're going to see a bit of walking around, trying to cover the rest of the map until he can find what he needs. MuchParanoia is saving his game now that he's got the money that he needs for the next item that he's going to. Which is probably good practice, but again, it's just another little bit of time that's slowing him down.
Empty Eye, we have Keyless, Short Sherlock, very fast experience, and, well,
Randomized item shops,
experience,
yeah,
everything.
all the randomized, yeah, chaos kind of things. And Game Boy is popping in now to buy the Flame Sword. Just with the gold that he's managed to accumulate. He's stayed alive for a while. He's been on 6 deaths for a good bit of time at this point. And so that's just going to increase his attack power even further. And he is starting to get close to being Dragon Lord eligible, though again in Chaos, you never know what you're going to get. But still, he needs to find the Harp, and I think find the Jerk, and finally find Sherlock before he'll be able to go in there. But Paranoia does have the money to purchase Flame Sword and Magic Armor. So, he should be able to stay alive a whole lot better. He should be able to discover a number of the enemies that are going to give some good experience. And if he kills I don't know, even just a handful of them, he's going to get another 5 or 6 levels pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Game Boy somewhere along the line got level 15. And so for very fast experience, this is still extremely fast experience. Usually level 15 wouldn't be coming until like 5,000 experience and very fast. Game Boy's got 2,500 and he's already there.
I think it's after 18 or something the experience really jumps up, even in chaos mode. And just like that, he's already at 16.
And meanwhile, Paranoia is still just having some bad luck, getting killed by a Wraith Knight. There's another death, sending him back to the castle, but at least he can hold on to his equipment. And one of these days, he's going to find a Poltergeist or a Goldman. I hope he hasn't forgotten that he has the sleep spell as well. He gets an excellent move, MuchParanoia, and another hit on a golem for a big win and 7 experience. Hey, he kills an Axe Knight for 85. That's going to help. And he's just found the Gold Man. This enemy is going to go down in one shot and give him 92 experience. Now at least he knows one really great target to look for, and he's going to get a couple of levels here. It looks like he's advanced to level 8 now. And meanwhile, on Game Boy's side, whereas the Wraith Knight had killed MuchParanoia recently, Game Boy uses Hurtmore to kill off the Wraith Knight. Sadly, it's not worth much experience. And MuchParanoia is headed back into Hawk's Nest now, and so given his upgraded equipment, I think he will be able to take down the Spike Tile and get Erdrick's armor. And it looks like Game Boy has another level up. He's up to level 17, which offers 8 more power, 7 more hit points. He's really getting close in terms of his overall stats, and he doesn't even have Erdrick's Sword yet. MuchParanoia is successful in picking up Erdrick's armor. And so that's also going to increase his survivability tremendously, since he's not quite at the level where you learn Heal More. I think that's coming up in the next 1 or 2 levels.
Game Boy found Caitlin, but decided to leave, realizing he doesn't need the coordinates this time.
I see another Spark Over Bridge over on MuchParanoia's side, leading to a single forest tile. Oh, it's a double Sparko Bridge because it's got a single swamp tile on the other side. It's the famed barbells.
And Game Boy's at 18 apparently.
And fighting an Armored Knight, which apparently has tons and tons of armor. He's only hitting for 6, but meanwhile, the Armored Knight isn't able to hit back for anything. So while in Chaos Mode, the Dragon Lord always presents particular challenges. It's looking from Game Boy's point of view that this is entirely going to be what I like to call a homework seed, where it's just a matter of finding all the locations and trading in all the items that you need to do. No grinding will be necessary. And sadly, MuchParanoia takes another death, this time to a wolf.
Level 19 for Game Boy. Oh wow, 105 strength.
And 14 more magic. These stats are just incredible. Assuming Erdrick's sword is inside Sharlock, that's going to be another 12 attack power. That'll bring his attack power up to 150 already. There's another Sparkle Bridge. And he would be able to hit the Dragon Lord for up to 25.
Also has 182 HP, so he could probably do a quad before having to heal.
So unless Dragon Lord 1 has sleep or a super strong attack, Dragon Lord 2 can only have, remind me, what can Dragon Lord 2 have in Chaos mode?
Ferran posted earlier, I believe it's up to 200 and something HP.
I see, and I think it can also have the heal, but not heal more spell.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh, DL2 can also have sleep? I know DL1, or at least that's what I thought I remembered. And if you stop a spell DL1 during his battle, does that stop spell carry over to DL2?
It does not. And DL2 could also have very high stop spell resistance. Can't be 16 out of 16, or probably 15 out of 16.
Wow. And we haven't even seen Sharlock, which suggests that it's going to be at a far end of the map. So if it does turn out to be a naughty Dragon Lord, it could be the case that Game Boy has a lot of walking still ahead of him. And yeah, that's a good point. If Dragon Lord 2 has heal, that's actually kind of an advantage for all the attack power that you have here, because you'll be able to hit harder than the heal, and it just means he'll no longer be hitting back. Well, at this point, we've got both players trying to methodically paint out the bits of the map that they haven't seen, learn where the final things are. I've lost track of if either of them are currently on the first or second continent, or if this turned out to be one big continent.
Looks like the Fun Police still keep their name.
Yeah, and the Armored Knights were also certainly well armored, so even though it's chaos, some things never change. And if I remember correctly, I think there's still a couple more races scheduled for later in the day today. Do you remember? Or I don't have the tournament schedule up handy.
I happen to, and we... Sorry, we have a race at 6 and a race at 10, I believe.
Alright, so more coming later this evening as we get close to finishing up the last few races in the first round of Swiss among all of our 64 runners and 32 races per week in the first of 5 weeks of Swiss. But yeah, we've actually gone for a long time with players not taking a death and not finding a location. They're just walking all around trying to understand this map. One of the new features of this version of the randomizer that's being used, this is the first tournament that the new version's being used in, is rivers. We see a number of them on both players' sides, and those rivers cause more bridges, and that causes some more interesting maps that could be hard to keep track of if you're not drawing a map along the way. And I think MuchParanoia is getting very close to level 12. He's got little heal already, but I think level 12 maybe as well. Heal more is coming. And then soon after that is going to be hurt more.
If I remember correctly, level 12 did have a big gap or jump to level 13 as well. But yeah, Healbor would be great.
And look, it's the Big C, spotted by gameboyf9. Sadly, he doesn't have the key to get in. It may be keyless, but you also need the rainbow drop. Although there is a flag for that, isn't that? Open Charlock, I believe, is the name of the flag in the randomizer.
I believe that is right.
All right. Finally, level 12 for MuchParanoia. He's learned Heal more. He's taken a glance at his stats to see exactly where he stands. And look forward to the next level up, and the fire transition we'll eventually see on MuchParanoia's side when he learns Hurt more as well. And Hurt more obviously is big, because in Chaos, where you're continually running into enemies you haven't seen, and you're not sure exactly what you can and can't kill, with the fair amount of magic, I guess on MuchParanoia's side, it's still not effectively an infinite amount of magic that he's got. It can be pretty good strategy just to try hurt mooring everybody. Someone was asking in the chat what the good enemies are. A poltergeist is a one-shot kill for 100 and something. A Goldman was a one-shot kill for 92. Were some of the early enemies that gave a lot of experience. But I don't really know that I've seen one that's been like, 230 experience anywhere along the way. It's just that with the very fast leveling in Chaos, it just so happens that the levels are coming really quickly with less amounts of experience.
Looks like Paranoia is going for the coordinates, not, I guess, not having found coal yet, and
Right, he
realizing
hasn't
that
found
they
coal to
don't
get
need
the
it.
token, and so he doesn't realize he doesn't need it. I guess we're about to find out if there are coordinates that are going to lead to the flute, and so that could send him on a little bit of a wild goose chase at this point.
Oh, and it's a hard one to find too. 7859, I think.
78 south, 59 west is what the old man has to say. But yeah, for anyone arriving late, Game Boy is still missing the location of the mountain cave, which must have the silver harp in it. And I can't recall if he's seen Staff of Rain cave either, but it looks like he just found a new cave. It is the mountain cave, and so we should see the harp in short order.
Yeah, and right now with 182 health and Erdrick's armor healing him constantly, very, very little chance of dying.
I haven't been paying attention. I feel like I've only seen like one enemy with Dragon Lord 2 breath so far in the seed, actually. Love it. Paranoia talks to the radish salesman. Buy my radishes! Alright, he's got the silver harp. I gotta imagine that Game Boy is going to choose to just grab a couple more chests out of Mountain Cave, just in case Erdrick's sword is in one of these last couple of chests. It'll only cost him a couple of seconds and 12 attack power. Given that you don't know what the Dragon Lord's gonna have, could always be useful.
Yeah, even with all the HP and everything, 133 attack is still not a lot for Chaos mode.
Someone in chat is asking if radishes are a wise investment. I recommend tulips instead. Alright, but with that, Game Boy is going to get all the chests out of the mountain cave. Erdrick's sword was not in there. And I can't recall that he has seen Staff of Rain Cave, but given that he just chose to cast Return, that suggests to me that he does know where to turn in the harp. So we'll see if he heads directly in a certain direction. Yeah, that was a very direct and intentional walk that Game Boy just made directly to the Staff of Rain Cave, so he did know and remember where it is. And so if he also knows where the jerk is, then we will probably see a Charlock. I guess I can call it a dive, but with short Charlock, it's not that much of a dive very soon. And on MuchParanoia's side, he has gotten to level 13. He now has Hurt More in his arsenal. We see the fire transition on the tracker, and now the only spell that he doesn't have available to him is Radiant.
Another 3,200 experience to level 20 for Game Boy, so he'll probably go for Sherlock right away.
And that was a clever thing for him to go ahead and check, since he had warped back to Tanagel anyway, to go ahead and talk to the king just to get that information. And yes, by all means, place your guesses in the chat. Which of the 7 Charlock chests is going to contain Erdrick's sword?
I think I'm with Empty Eye on this one. We'll go Judge's Table.
I guess I'll take bottom right, just to put a guess in there as well. Yeah, the Judge's Table might actually be the quickest chest to get to. It's pretty even. You'll see what short Charlock looks like in a short bit if you haven't seen it already. I don't know that it'll be the final chest that they try, because there is always the possibility that someone will want to use the Death Necklace if they lose to the Dragon Lord and it seems like they just need more strength. I don't know. You maybe want the hit points. I don't know enough about Chaos to know when the Death Necklace comes into play.
In my experience, very rarely, but if you die to deal 1 once, maybe put it on the second time.
And Chad is pointing out that also the Fighter's Ring is still missing, so that is another thing that they definitely want to pick up. I would imagine Game Boy is not going to forget about that, so if he does find the sword first, he'll probably keep looking to pick up the ring as well. Never know when an extra 2 attack power is going to be the thing that makes a difference. Well, Game Boy is taking a final stop here at the Motel 6. Very cheap way to go ahead and get all filled up. But if they get Erdrick's sword and the Fighter's Ring, that would be another 14 additional attack power. That would bring Game Boy's attack power up to 147, and he would be hitting for up to 23.
There we go. Walk in Sherlock Castle, you end up in the basement.
So is he going to check the Judge's Table first, or is he going to check the Treasury first? I hope it's not too presumptuous that I'm expecting that he's going to live to see one of these chests. He heads for the Judge's Table, and it contains fairy water. Bottom middle turns out to be the location of Erdrick's sword, and as expected, Game Boy is continuing to open the other chests, and left middle is the Fighter's Ring, which he puts on. He continues opening the chests, and finally, middle is the Death Necklace. So Game Boy has now gotten all the chests in the game, has all the items other than the flute, which is buried on the overworld coordinates, which are unnecessary, and Princess Gwaelin's love. And those red dragons sadly only offer 38 experience, so it's not even particularly rewarding to kill them.
It's great to see Sherlock enemies running away from you, too.
I forget, in Chaos Mode, is it possible for a Spike Tile enemy to run away from you?
It is. I actually believe the one in Hoxness ran away from Game Boy first time.
So that's why I didn't see it.
Which was coincidentally the Metal Scorpion, and is also here.
Fantastic. Game Boy is so strong that the Dragon Lord's lackey runs away rather than trying to protect his master. And Game Boy immediately chooses to put on the Death Necklace. So there's another 10 attack power. That'll bring him up to 157 attack power, and now he will really be swinging that Erdrick sword. Let's see what Dragon Lord has against him.
A lot of strength.
Ouch. Hit for 64 right at the beginning. Game Boy tries to hurt more, but then the Dragon Lord comes back with a swing of 75! And Game Boy has already given up his hit points to get that extra strength, so look out.
Let's have a look at Dragon Lord 1, shall we?
Awesome feature of the tracker is being able to pop up various enemy stats. Dragon Lord 1 has 160 hit points, a 208 attack power, yikes, but is 25% to cast the hurt spell, so maybe with some lucky sequencing, you could get through him that way. He's also not going to cast sleep, so that's a nice thing.
But at the same time, you can't cast Sleep or Stop spell, at least not easily, against Dragon Lord 1 to stop some things.
Right. Game Boy did know that the hurt more lands. It looks like 3 out of 4 times that would work. Yeah, I have no idea, given all the range of possibilities on Dragon Lord, what the best stats are, or what the best strategy is now for Game Boy to do.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Hurtmore looks to be the best option, but... Or maybe even just to try Sleep.
Right, but yeah, I feel like it's going to come down to possibly getting lucky enough that the Dragon Lord opens with 1 or 2 hurts out of his first 3 attacks, given how strong that he is. That said, 2 hurts and 3 attacks or something is unlikely to happen, given that he's only 25% hurt. So I wonder if Game Boy fails horrendously again on a second one. It was, what, another 2,000 and something to the next level up? I don't know the Game Boy. He probably remembers the Poltergeist is in the opening zone. If he gets that back to Tanagal, I wonder if we'll consider grinding at all.
Yeah, and then the thing is another level worth it? It might be worth a try, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a trade-off given how far away this Sharlock is. I didn't actually time it, but it probably took Game Boy, I'm guessing, like at least 2 minutes to get back over here. At least he doesn't have to re-dive Sharlock through 7 basements. He can do a pretty quick walk up to the Dragon Lord himself. Metal Scorpion, I guess, will still be there and run away.
I think Paranoia is in the Mountain Cave and also has level 19 now.
Yeah, I was just about to call that out. Despite the huge experience difference between these players at the start, such as the nature of Chaos and the unusual way the levels are spread out, MuchParanoia does have a chance to catch up here. He's still quite behind in terms of a number of exploration things that he needs to do. For example, he hasn't found coal to get Erdrick's token. But given what we saw out of Dragon Lord 1, and now even just a Wraith Knight that killed Game Boy inside Charlotte Castle, we could still be in for an unexpectedly long fight here. And maybe it will give MuchParanoia time to catch up if he has some better luck with the enemies that he encounters while he's collecting all the items. DePaul Doug is asking if there's a high experience enemy to grind. I don't know that we've seen anything with a ton of experience. Remind me, I don't know if we can pop up the Poltergeist. I think it was a very easy enemy that was offering like 130 experience. I'm sure there was also some enemy that I think offered like 171 experience, but I can't remember who it was. And it might have been someone who was much more difficult to kill. But I don't think I've seen anyone who gives above 200 experience, although it's easily possible that I missed it. Okay, the Poltergeist is 161. And the Poltergeist, I believe, was in the starting zone right by Tanagel Castle. I think both players also have killed at least one of them. So if they want to go after that enemy, that could be a good one.
Chad is also asking for Wraith Knight. I'm going to pop that up now.
Yeah, those Wraith Knights were mean. We'll see exactly what they had.
Oh yeah, they're just a bit strong.
Yikes. And on top of that, they're likely to heal, and they can use Dragon Lord 2 Breath against you. And, of course, they're in this cave that MuchParanoia is trying to get to key items.
And 18 experience.
Your reward is the fact that you don't get warped back to Tanagel Castle. Alright, but MuchParanoia is going to be saving the princess. That will be useful for knowing how much experience it's going to be to the next level at any given moment in time, but sadly, coordinates-wise, it's just going to lead to the fairy flute, and that's not going to be a particularly useful item for him. He needs to find coal in order to get the token. It looks like on MuchParanoia's side, he's got Princess in arms, and I guess is choosing to continue to explore, carrying the princess around, hoping to find his way back to coal, perhaps? So that maybe he doesn't have to trade in the princess, and I don't know, I might just trade in the princess just to have the ability to know how much experience it is to the next level at any given time. Meanwhile, Game Boy is headed back to try number 2 against the Dragon Lord.
And got ambushed for 70.
I believe the word we're looking for is ouch. And his sleeps fail, and so there's another death to Dragon Lord 1. The real boss of the game. DePaul Doug has a good suggestion. Just say yes next time. Share half the world. And he's being kicked out of the Tanagel Castle because he is cursed. If you put on a cursed belt or the death necklace, you become cursed. You're no longer allowed to enter Tanagel Castle. And the only way to uncurse yourself is to go to town of Breckenry, where there's someone who can take off the curse. Game Boy chose to curse himself with the death necklace to get extra attack power. But that's one of the trade-offs of putting on the death necklace. But yeah, for those arriving late, Game Boy had a huge, overwhelming lead, it appeared, early in the seed. I think perhaps Game Boy got to level 12 before MuchParanoia got off of level 1. Given the fact that it was keyless, there was an immediate gold grind available in Tangential Castle at the start, but MuchParanoia apparently didn't know how to activate the immediate gold grind. As a result, Game Boy was able to quickly get a broadsword and silver shield right off the bat, whereas MuchParanoia was using lesser equipment in order to try to get off the initial levels here right at the start of the game. So that got Game Boy off to a huge lead. Now, at this point, the experience is basically kind of evened out in terms of their capabilities, but MuchParanoia still has a lot of exploring to catch up on. But given how difficult Dragon Lord 1 is, he might have that time to catch up, because Game Boy has a long walk each time he wants to go back to Charlotte Castle to make another attempt.
Oh, chat saying Game Boy got uncursed. I missed that.
Yeah, he just went by that place in Breckenridge. So we'll have to update his equipment to be an unequipped death necklace. That's going to bring his attack power back down to 147. I think that makes sense, because given that it looks like he's going to try Hurtmore's as his way to damage Dragon Lord 1, and the fact that Dragon Lord 1 is doing so much attack so that he needs the extra hit points, it's a good trade-off to become uncursed and have those things for Dragon Lord 1. Meanwhile, I was going to point out the fact that Erdrick's Sword, the Fighter's Ring, and the Death Necklace were all three of them inside the Sharlock Treasury. So until MuchParanoia manages to assemble the Rainbow Drop, he won't have access to those extra attack power items. So now we know, having looked at the stats, that 3 out of 4 Hurtmores are going to land on Dragon Lord 1. Furthermore, Dragon Lord 1 is 25% just use the Hurt spell. So if Game Boy, now with 180 some odd hit points, is lucky enough to not get back attacked and have at least one Hurt spell by Dragon Lord 1 and lands his Hurtmores, he should be able to take out Dragon Lord 1. That said, here he is being wrangled by the Wraith Knight, who also has a chance of sending him back to Tanagal before he even gets there. MuchParanoia, in the meantime, looks like just got through Mountain Cave. He picked up the Silver Harp, one of the key quest items that he needs, and he's continuing to explore.
I would say that the two of them are cursing themselves for using the Chaos mode, but they're still only an hour in, and I mean, Game Boy's had 3 attempts at Dragon Lord now, or 2.
Right. Chaos mode, it seems to me, magnifies one of the problems that sometimes happens in the vanilla game, which is sometimes it's very hard to get off level 1 at the start, and sometimes you end up with a very short or very difficult Charlock at the end. In the case of Chaos mode, Dragon Lord 1 is just possibly ridiculously difficult, where you either need a lucky sequence or you need some unexpected grinding to a ridiculous level. But on this seed, the front end, given that you could buy equipment that was very good right at the start, I mean, Game Boy got to level 10, I think, 6 minutes into this seed. So that gives you just a sense of what very fast experience plus Chaos mode plus good equipment available at the start can do for leveling. Druin Lords have sleep over on Game Boy's side. I don't remember if we've seen a Druin Lord before, so I wonder if he's going to wake up, manage to kill this enemy, and we'll find out if it's got some big experience. That would be a nice change of pace. It definitely had a lot of health. 98 experience. Not bad.
Oh, we have coal on Paranoia
Oh,
side.
and that Druin Lord I didn't realize had Dragon Lord 2 Breath as well, so it's got the Wombo combo. So, and it's got a fair amount of agility. It's not too hurt more resistant. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of an ugly enemy to run into, honestly. But Game Boy gets another Poltergeist for 161. That's the enemy he really wants. That's the only one-shot kill that offers 161 experience or more that I can remember seeing this entire seed. And yeah, for people arriving late, wondering exactly what they're up against with Dragon Lord 1, if you want to put up the Dragon Lord 1 stats again, this is what, despite their crazy stats, they're up against with Dragon Lord 1, who we've already seen hit for 75. Dragon Lord 1 had a 208 attack power and 224 agility. However, Hurtmore is likely to land 3 out of 4 times. MuchParanoia is doing a great job staying alive. He's going to be trading in the harp here for the Staff of Rain. He's still got the Princess in Arms, so he's managed to save himself, potentially. Yeah, I guess at some point I missed it, and he got into coal and got the token. So yeah, he knows now he doesn't have to worry if he happens to lose the princess along the way, but at the same time, since he's going back to the castle right now, he might choose to drop off the princess. It'll cost him 8 seconds at the end as he goes through a little extra cutscene after winning the game, but looks like he's maybe just gonna not worry about the princess. Maybe carry the princess all the way to the Dragon Lord so that she can watch his almost inevitable first defeat. So far, Game Boy is having a better walk through Charlock. Despite only being one floor, a Wraith Knight is the enemy that is the fun police patroller of Charlock. The Metal Scorpion who's on the spike tile is likely just to run away. And so Game Boy is going to get up to Dragon Lord for attempt number 3.
If he can get through to Wraith Knight anyway.
Doe.
Oh wow, Hurtmore misses so many times.
And this is one of the challenging and frustrating things, not only in Chaos, but also just in Vanilla Dragon Warrior, when you're trying to, for example, land Stop Spell on an enemy that you've seen land once, and then you have a sequence where it fails to land. They could have a resistance that could be kind of a random number based on certain constraints, and it's one of those cases where you just don't know. You have a very small sample of, okay, I've landed it 1 times, but it missed 3 times. Does that mean it's a very high stop spell resistance, or have I just been very unlucky and I should keep trying? It's the same kind of thing with Hurtmore on this Wraith Knight here for Game Boy.
He can be pretty much guaranteed if he manages to make it through, or whoever manages to make it through DL1 first. DL2 is pretty much a given now, unless you really use all your MP beforehand.
And so it's always possible, though still unlikely, that MuchParanoia could walk up to the Dragon Lord 1, not get back attacked. Dragon Lord 1 could open with a hurt spell, and the outcome could go completely topsy-turvy.
Yeah, I've seen it happen in Chaos races before. In fact, I think I've actually done that in chaos races to other people.
In any case, the princess is definitely getting the world tour, enjoying being carried around the entire map by MuchParanoia, seeing the sights. They just had a nice little stopover in the bed and breakfast at Breckenry. I can't recall if MuchParanoia has actually seen Charlock. It's just over to his right there from where he is on the map right now, but there's a Wraith Knight in the way, and okay, he chooses to run away. That's probably a good idea. I think he's about to see it. Go that way. All right, well, we might have a virtual high five coming up here if MuchParanoia does make the right turn that's going to bring him over to Charlotte Castle. And it looks like he does. Okay. So he'll be able to use his rainbow drop for the first time to get into Charlotte Castle. He'll obviously have to make a detour into the treasury to pick up Erdrick's sword, the fighter's ring, and possibly the death necklace. And given that Wraith Knights are in the castle, he did just successfully run from one, and so that's his current strategy, and he just wants to see what the Dragon Lord has in store for him. Well, Wraith Knight is blocking us away. We'll see what happens here.
If you look at the experience totals, Game Boy just leveled up to level 20. He's got double the experience that Paranoia has.
And it looks like that level 20 is a 3630 level, so not particularly noteworthy in terms of changing the stats. This is mostly about either getting lucky with Dragon Lord 1 sequencing and having him not a back attack and possibly use the hurt spell, or actually, I don't even know what the or is.
Yeah, no, it is still possible that level 21 could be a couple kills away.
Or taking the offer is another suggestion in the chat once again. Oh, MuchParanoia picked up Erdrick's sword and then left without even getting the fighter's ring. So he's going to be a little less attack power than Game Boy had when he did his attempt. Actually, a lot less, because he also didn't pick up the death necklace, but that's probably a good thing, because we've seen you want the extra hit points against Dragon Lord 1. Meanwhile, Game Boy is going past the Metal Scorpion once again, who continues to run away, frightened little creature that he is. Game Boy has an unlucky hurt more that doesn't land. And honestly, the Dragon Lord only hitting him for 54 is pretty terrific. And the Dragon Lord casts a hurt. That's something that Game Boy... I had another hurt in a row, maybe hadn't seen before. It gives him a chance to heal up again. And now, if nothing else, he has hope. He's defeated Dragon Lord 1. I didn't see how much resources he has left going into Dragon Lord 2, but he does not get back attacked. So this could be it.
The extremely high HP in this case doesn't really make a big difference because you'll never be able to heal up to that max. But at the same time, he's still likely to get a couple of doubles here and there.
and I think he came in with maybe 7 heal mores, so he'll probably get 10 attacks is what I'm guessing. And given how hard he's hitting, that's probably going to be enough, even for a high hit point Chaos Dragon Lord. We'll see. And there's also the possibility that Dragon Lord might know heal, which also could be an advantage for Game Boy in terms of getting an extra attack in here. But he might not even need it. He just got another double. And he has succeeded. Get your GGs in chat for gameboyf9, who managed to defeat an insane Dragon Lord 1 and then take down a pretty normal Dragon Lord 2. We're putting up the stats for Dragon Lord 2, whose AI was 50% fight, or 50% Dragon Lord 2 fire. He did not have sleeper heal. But perhaps as expected, while level 20 probably did help a little bit, and obviously having the knowledge of how the fight might go certainly helped for Game Boy, it was the case that during that fight he did get to see 2 hurts, and I think that might have been one of the keys for a very tough Dragon Lord 1. Be sure to give our runners a follow. I put links to them in the chat, and we are joined now by gameboyf9. How about that Dragon Lord 1 fight, Game Boy? I think you might be muted on your mic.
There, how about now?
Yes, great. How about that Dragon Lord?
Thank God. That was like that ranked up there as one of the worst Sharlocks in the history of Chaos mode.
That Wraith Knight was not a very friendly creature. I think he killed you twice while you were trying to walk through a short Sharlock.
Yeah, I don't know. What number did I have? Oh, I died 11 times. Is that what it was? And that's the Dragon Lord. Wow, dodged a lot. Couldn't be slept, and wow, I only had 1 in 4 hurt resistance, although it was at least 1.
Yeah, you were a little bit unlucky with the Hurt Moors landing in your sequencing, but finally in that last fight you managed to see him cast Hurt twice, which I think is one of the keys.
Yeah, that's what I needed. I needed a couple hurts, and then the actual Dragon Lord, the Dragon Lord 2 was fine.
Yeah, you went in there. I think you still had 7 heal mores left, but you were hitting hard enough and likely to get doubles that even with a high hit point Dragon Lord 2, it seemed like it was going to be fine. And Dragon Lord 2 did not actually have sleep or heal, so you didn't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, I was gonna just do it with even if he did cast heal, because I figure there was gonna be a what was I gonna say? I figure I could break through the heal, because it only heals half the time, right? So
right.
at the worst, so yeah.
Yeah, it was basically the case that heal, it might actually help you out because he'd be hitting you a little bit less and you'd be able to hit through it, and it might give you basically an effective 1 extra double if you needed it. Yeah. Meanwhile, MuchParanoia is fighting Dragon Lord 1 right now, but this is only his first attempt, I think, or maybe his second. And so we are seeing a hurt from Dragon Lord 1, though, so we'll see if he's actually able to cut through. He did not initiate the initial gold grind, and so didn't have the initial starting equipment of the broadsword and the silver shield that you went immediately to, and so you were actually level 10 or possibly 12 before he got off level 1, also due to him not finding the gold man kind of early on, which was one of the easy enemies to kill for 92 experience that got you to level 6 immediately.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. I was like, oh, I see a town. Oh, I see a broadsword. I see a silver shield. Yeah, it's time to start again.
Yeah, that was a very good reset, and it was good that you checked out exactly how much money you were going to need with the randomized item costs to get the things that were going to get you off the ground. So that was a huge advantage right at the start for you.
Yeah, so that was very fortunate. And how many dives of the Sharlock did I have? 7 dives?
That sounds
Great.
quite plausible. I think you had 6 deaths possibly going into things, and if we were keeping up, did you have 11 at the end? Maybe it was only 5 dives and 2. Well, five times against the Dragon Lord, and 2 other times you died to a Wraith Knight. That doesn't quite add up. I'm not sure.
All I know is that I died.
Paranoia has taken down DL1, but used every bit of MP he had.
Yeah, it looks like he's forfeited, and I can't blame him.
But yeah, basically, given how difficult the Dragon Lord was, and given how much the bump from level 19 to level 20 was, given the amount of experience you needed, 19 came really early, 20 came really late. And so despite the fact that you were very far ahead, then Paranoia caught up to 29 and managed to get all the items and get into Sharlock before you'd managed to win the game. And so it was, once again, chaos. You never know what's going to happen. It made it exciting to watch.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we were able to do this the one time. We just decided on this like right before the race that we were gonna do the equivalent of week 2 flags of the league. And so I'm glad we were able to show this to everybody and give them a little bit something different.
And yeah, you gave me something different to commentate as well. I've hardly watched any Chaos, and I just stepped in as a commentator at the last minute on this one. And so it was kind of me getting my feet under myself and chat helping me out a couple of times, and Cyberdark as well. So yeah, speaking of, thanks to Cyberdark and Garyon for both doing some commentary, Cyberdark, as well as doing the tracking and restreaming. And I think now we have It's Paranoia also joining in.
Good game, Paranoia.
Good game.
Yeah, I can totally understand that reaction. That was crazy.
I mean, as soon as I got off the ground, everything was fine except for Wraith Knight, which would not let me run.
Yeah, I had a couple falls to the Wraith Knight as well. I could not stand them. Anyway, can you bring up the Wraith Knight stats? I'm curious about the statistic.
Yeah, they were super strong. We had their stats up earlier, and I'm sure we'll put them up again.
Wow. Oh, there it is. That's why we couldn't run from the sleep. We couldn't get away from 15 out of 16 sleep. That'll do. And they weren't worth anything either. They were 18 experience points. I mean, come on, man.
Right, your reward for killing the Wraith Knight was that you did not get warped back to Tangential Castle. The end?
And that's if you couldn't even sap through the heal because of the 214 agility. I thought it was like closer to 255, but I mean, it was good enough. I mean, you only had what, a 1 in 4 chance of running from a Wraith Knight at that.
So yeah, Paranoia, we were just talking about it. One of the big differences at the start of the race, given that it was keyless, you could get an immediate gold grind if you re-entered the throne room right after you started the game, and then was able to immediately gold grind out of the chests. And so Game Boy, after seeing what was available in the shop, did a reset, did an immediate gold grind, and immediately had the broadsword and the silver shield, whereas you were repeatedly walking through Tangential Castle a number of times to try to get that starting equipment that would help you get off the ground. And so as a result, Game Boy got off to like a 10-minute head start right at the start of this seed.
But yeah, I don't know what else was there. I mean, the actual everything was fine up until Sherlock. I mean, pretty much everything was pretty routine. The map was pretty complicated for sure.
Yeah, the map was actually one of the things that I thought was really had the potential to slow you down, because You'd gained a big experience lead and only seen, I was guessing, maybe a quarter of the map at that point. And so there was a lot of time then where you're just walking, walking, walking. And it's like, where is Mountain Cave and the Harp? Where is Sharlock? These things need to be found.
Yeah, I was glad I was able to find Mountain Cave. I felt I found Mountain Cave a little bit late, but I didn't feel like it was too late, if you know what.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, given your experience with Dragon Lord 1, you never knew what he was going to have, and so you're probably a little bit worried that maybe you were going too long and you already had the stats that you wanted to go to try to fight and win. But in Chaos, it's one of those things that, yeah, getting a little more is never a bad idea.
And since it turned out Dragon Lord 1 just trucked as hard as he could, what was he hitting for?
We saw a hit of 75 on Game Boy at one point.
Yeah, I thought I saw an 80, but maybe not.
So you really needed him to cast hurt a couple of times. He was only 25% hurt, but if you managed to get a couple of hurts in there, it would allow you to use a heal more and have a chance to quote unquote catch back up. And also, Game Boy, I don't remember in your final fight when you won, were you mostly swinging or mostly using hurt mores or some combination? I didn't pay enough attention.
I threw down like 3 or 4 hurt mores in a row, but that didn't. But they weren't landing. So, and then he started. So I figured, okay, I guess I got to swing because I was assuming like 8 or 10 out of 16 resistance. So I got to swing, got to swing, got to swing, and then I got lucky and I had enough magic to win the DL2.
All right. Well, it ended up being something entertaining for us to watch this morning. I know we have a couple more matches scheduled again this evening for those who enjoy watching Dragon Warrior Randomizer. Yeah, I think Cyberdark possibly had the schedule still open. I don't have it open right now. Maybe Game Boy just knows it off the top of his.
I think there's one at 6 with Demarine and Lafkian, and then there's one at 10, and that's against, I don't know.
The team will be beta strip and up to NG.
Ah, thank you.
That'll be a good one. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I don't know. Any parting thoughts for you two before we go ahead and call this one? Eastern time zone is always the time zone that we use when we're announcing the broadcast.
So thank you to MuchParanoia for the race. I'm glad we were able to show Chaos Mode to everybody, and so I wish you luck for the rest of the tournament.
Good luck and have fun.
Will do. Thanks. And I also like to thank the restreamer, the commentary, and the trackers as well. Well done.
All right. Well, there we have it. Thanks everybody for coming out, and we will see you again later today.